There is a place on the map, not vast in size, yet it holds within it an entire universe of wonders. A nation where the moment you set foot, you feel as if you've unlocked the door to a hidden treasure. That place is Vietnam, a land both real and dreamlike, both familiar and foreign, where past and present blend into a living symphony. Imagine dawn breaking over Ha Giang Bay, the first rays of sunlight shimmering on the water like thousands of diamonds dancing in unison. Or an autumn afternoon in Hanoi, where the faint cries of street vendors echo through narrow alleys, like a rustic love song of everyday life. Vietnam is not merely a destination, it is a living story, a moving canvas where every street corner, every path, every face is a color essential to the masterpiece. Here, you may savor a steaming bowl of pho on a crisp morning, while the distant chime of temple bells drifts across the air, as though the soul of the nation is whispering thousand-year-old tales. And only a few hours later, you might find yourself swept into the neon-lit streets of Saigon, where life surges forward like a river that never ceases to flow. Vietnam is a country of contrasts, opposites that somehow complete one another in perfect harmony. Here, ancient villages nestle among misty mountains where time seems to stand still, while modern cities glow with radiant lights, pulsing with the heartbeat of global integration. Here, you can feel the serenity of endless rice fields stretching into infinity, only to be suddenly swept into the whirlwind of vibrant night markets, filled with colors and sounds. Its cuisine is another journey altogether. From the humble banh mi, celebrated as one of the world's greatest street foods, to the royal banquets of Hue, elaborate and refined like works of art, each dish tells a story, each flavor a chapter, turning every meal into a voyage through the collective memory of a people. And above all, it is the Vietnamese people, the true soul of this land, who carry within them hospitality, fierce national pride, and an unbreakable spirit. They may offer you a cup of tea by the roadside, or smile warmly when you lose your way in a narrow alley. These simple gestures, seemingly small, are what create the immense force that makes millions of travelers linger longer and remember deeper. Yet what makes Vietnam truly extraordinary is not only the beauty visible to the eye, but the unexpected wonders hidden beneath. A country where spiritual rituals can last through the night, amid pounding drums and fragrant incense, where men dress as women in ancient festivals to pray for bountiful harvests, where a house barely 2 meters wide can still shelter 3 generations under one roof. Are you ready to embark on a journey to explore one of the most unique and surprising nations on Earth? A journey where every step uncovers a new truth, every landscape plants wonder deep in your heart. And today, with fascinating discoveries, we will count down and reveal 15 mind-blowing facts about Vietnam, the world's most unique country. And I assure you, by the time we reach the final fact, you will realize that Vietnam is not just a destination. It is a living miracle. Number 15. A country like no other, food paradise and safe and cheap living. Can you believe that there exists a place in the world where, with just $500 a month, you could live in comfort, dine like royalty every single day, and walk the streets at night without fear? Vietnam, a slender S-shaped land in Southeast Asia, is celebrated for its rich cuisine, boasting over 500 distinct dishes, praised by UNESCO and world-class chefs alike. From the aromatic pho of Hanoi, to the fiery and hearty bun bo hue, to the crispy banh mi, hailed as the world's best sandwich by international food magazines. But it's not only about food. Vietnam is also ranked among the safest countries in the world, with low crime rates and people known for their warmth and hospitality. Imagine an early morning in Hanoi. A thin mist still lingers over the old rooftops as you step into a humble noodle shop on a street corner. For just over $1, a steaming bowl of pho appears, capable of erasing every trace of weariness. In Huo, as temple bells echo in the distance, you sit by the poetic perfume river, savoring a fiery bowl of bun bo hui, once reserved only for the emperors of the Nguyen dynasty. And in bustling Saigon, you bite into a crisp banh mi, filled with pate, pork, herbs, and pickles, and suddenly you taste the fusion of East and West in a single loaf. It is this magical combination of rich cuisine, low living costs, and a safe environment that has made Vietnam a dream destination for millions of travelers, retirees, and young adventurers seeking a fresh start. While in New York or London, $500 might barely cover a cramped room, in Hanoi or Da Nang, that same amount offers you a comfortable apartment, delicious meals, and a welcoming community eager to embrace you. Drone shots sweeping over endless rice fields, close-ups of a chef pouring steaming broth into a bowl of pho, bustling Saigon street stalls with crispy banh mi, a foreigner smiling over a glass of iced coffee as life rushes past, yet his face radiates serenity. Vietnam, a paradise of food, a land of safety and ease. But this is only the beginning. Because if you think the cuisine alone is astonishing, just wait until the next discovery, where nature and humanity unite to create a masterpiece few would ever expect. Number 14. Ha Giang, the hidden gem of the North. Have you ever heard of a place where, the moment you set foot, it feels as though you've stepped out of the modern world and into a living watercolor painting? That place is Ha Giang, a remote northern province of Vietnam, where towering limestone mountains rise like ancient guardians, and valleys burst into colors that seem almost otherworldly. Far from the noisy tourist hubs, Ha Giang is not a land of glittering malls, but a realm where time seems to slow down, allowing you to hear the heartbeat of nature itself. Here, the Du Gia waterfall tumbles down in streams of crystal blue water, so clear it mirrors the heavens. Nearby, moss-covered ancient houses stand quietly, their stone walls whispering tales of generations past, while the Sang La Valley comes alive every autumn, carpeted with buckwheat flowers in shades of pink and violet, as though brushed onto the land by an unseen artist. But Ha Giang is not just scenery, it is experience. Picture yourself in a humble homestay, sharing a simple meal of rice, wild herbs, and grilled meat, while the laughter of village children rings through the air. The food may be rustic, yet each bite is infused with warmth and hospitality, making you feel less like a guest and more like family. A French traveler once wrote, "I came to Ha Giang searching for beauty, but I left with a heart full of memories of its people." Ha Giang stands as a living paradox. The more distant, the harder to reach, the more pristine its beauty remains. Something rare in today's world. While other Vietnamese destinations attract millions, Ha Giang remains relatively untouched, its culture preserved in the daily lives of the Hmong, Thai, and Dao communities. This very remoteness has turned Ha Giang into an island of time, where beauty resists commercialization and serenity is cherished like a treasure. Why is this discovery so extraordinary? Because in Ha Giang, you don't just look at landscapes, you step into a living painting, a harmony between humans and nature that modern civilization has nearly forgotten. Here, a single winding mountain pass can carry you from a valley of flowers to a cloud-wreathed peak within hours, compressing centuries of sensation into one journey. The contrasts are breathtaking. The stillness of mossy villages versus the grandeur of cliffs piercing the sky, the fragility of tiny blossoms set against the might of towering mountains. Suggested visuals: a drone sweeping above the serpentine Ma Pi Leng Pass, capturing the emerald No Quay River slicing through canyon walls. A close-up of a child's bright laughter as he chases buffalo across golden rice fields. A slow pan over villagers in vibrant traditional attire, their colors rivaling any fashion runway, yet rooted in centuries of heritage. And as twilight falls, the lens drifts across stone rooftops where blue smoke rises from kitchen fires, as though the outside world has melted away, leaving you in a timeless space. And just when you think nothing could be more extraordinary, prepare yourself. For the next discovery takes us to a completely different facet of Vietnam, where women are rewriting the very definition of freedom and strength. Number 13. Vietnamese women, independent and strong. Did you know that in Vietnam, there's still a playful saying that if a woman is not married by the age of 27, she is considered left on the shelf? Yet behind this seemingly harmless joke lies a fascinating truth. Modern Vietnamese women are rewriting their own story with chapters titled Independence, Confidence, and Determination. They are unafraid to search for love on dating apps such as Tinder, Bumble, or Facebook dating. But at the same time, they are equally ready to choose another path, living alone, building their own careers, and embracing freedom. Picture a young woman in bustling Ho Chi Minh City, sipping her iced coffee in a co-working space, laptop open, planning the launch of her startup, instead of worrying about wedding invitations. That image reflects a powerful cultural shift, from traditional marital expectations to a new definition of happiness, where marriage is no longer the ultimate destination. Yet this evolution does not erase tradition. Rather, it coexists with customs that might astonish the outside world. In some ethnic minority communities, the balance of power even flips. Women may be the ones to propose marriage, children inherit the mother's surname, and husbands move in with their wife's family. This is a striking paradox. While many Western societies have struggled for centuries to achieve gender equality, in these small Vietnamese villages, women's authority has been quietly recognized for generations. A German traveler once recounted attending a Hmong wedding in Ha Giang, where it was the bride who led the groom to her home. "I had never seen anything like it," he admitted, "and it made me rethink everything I thought I knew about marriage and power in love." So why is this discovery so remarkable? Because it reveals a paradox at the heart of Vietnamese society. While people still joke about unmarried women as being left on the shelf, those very women are asserting themselves more strongly than ever, within families, in business, in politics, and in the arts. They are gentle yet fierce, traditional yet modern, like a river that flows gracefully but has the power to carve valleys into stone. Suggested visuals: close-ups of a young woman in Hanoi typing on her laptop in a stylish cafe, sweeping drone shots of Sapa's love market filled with women in vibrant brocade dresses, a modern girl stepping out of Ho Chi Minh City's metro station, headphones on, eyes full of determination, intercut with a traditional wedding scene where a shy groom follows his bride to the echo of bamboo flutes in the mountains. And finally, the question arises: who is more compelling, the traditional or the modern Vietnamese woman? But hold on, because if you think this discovery is fascinating, the next one will surprise you even more. A world where the beating heart of Vietnamese life does not reside in skyscrapers, but right out on the sidewalks. Number 12. Sidewalk Culture, Vietnam's beating heart. Did you know that in Vietnam, sidewalks are not just for walking, but are the very heartbeat of daily life? With nothing more than a few plastic stools and a tiny table, the pavement instantly transforms into a buzzing eatery or a bustling cafe. The Vietnamese sidewalk is a cultural phenomenon, not merely a public space, but a living stage where every story unfolds. Business deals struck over bowls of noodles, shy confessions of love whispered under the glow of streetlights, and the latest neighborhood gossip spreading faster than the motorbikes whizzing by. Picture a crisp morning in Hanoi, the clinking sound of a po cart, steam rising into the chilly air, locals huddled together on low stools, slurping noodles while debating the day's news. Or imagine a sultry evening in Saigon, neon lights painting the streets, groups of friends gathered around street-side beer tables, raising glasses of cold draft beer, laughter echoing alongside karaoke songs belted from a small speaker. These seemingly simple scenes are, in fact, threads that weave community together, spaces where social barriers vanish. Why are sidewalks so important? Because they embody the adaptability, creativity, and communal spirit of the Vietnamese people. Tiny spaces that hold entire worlds of human connection. On the sidewalk, contrasts collide. Flimsy plastic tables beside the chaos of traffic. A humble bowl of crab noodle soup for less than $2 against the backdrop of towering glass skyscrapers. And yet, it is precisely this contrast that makes the sidewalk culture so irreplaceable, so magnetic. Suggested visuals: close-up shots of broth being poured into steaming bowls of pho. Drone footage capturing a Hanoi street buzzing with breakfast stalls. A slow-motion shot in Saigon as a glass of cold beer is lifted amid bursts of laughter. Children kicking a ball beside a crowded coffee stall. And finally, the image of a sidewalk karaoke scene, where an ordinary voice transforms into a star for the night. And just when you think this sidewalk culture is unique enough, prepare yourself, because the next discovery will take you to a love festival of the Thai ethnic group, where melodies played on leaves become the very language of the heart. Number 11. The Thai People's Love Festival. Can you imagine a place where a simple leaf can be transformed into the language of love? In the mountainous northwest of Vietnam, when spring arrives and the forests turn white with blooming ban flowers, the Thai people celebrate a special occasion: the Love Festival. This is not just a seasonal gathering. It is a sacred moment where young men and women find each other through music, dance, and the delicate signals of the heart. As night falls, the youth gather around bonfires, bringing drums, flutes, and most importantly, fresh green leaves. With skillful lips, they turn those leaves into instruments, producing melodies that are both pure and soulful, as if every note were a whispered confession directed at someone special. If a young man feels affection for a girl, he will play a tune on the leaf just for her. And if she responds with a shy smile, her eyes glimmering with mutual warmth, it means his feelings are returned. Out of those fragile sounds, an invisible thread is woven, binding two hearts together. Beyond the music, the festival also comes alive with the Zoe dance, the traditional circle dance of the Thai people. Picture hundreds of villagers holding hands, moving in unison around a roaring fire, laughter echoing through the mountains, flames flickering across the glowing faces of couples reveling in the joy of youth and the longing to love. Why is this festival so remarkable? Because it highlights a raw yet profound truth about love. Love that requires no roses, no diamonds, only music, a smile, and sincerity. In a world that grows noisier and more technology-driven each day, the Thai Love Festival serves as a gentle reminder. Sometimes happiness is born of the simplest things. Suggested visuals: sweeping drone shots over the northwest mountains blanketed in white ban blossoms. Close-ups of a young man pressing a green leaf to his lips as breath turns into melody. Slow-motion footage of the circle dance encircling a crackling fire. A girl's cheeks flushed in the firelight as she smiles softly. And just when you think nothing could be more romantic than a festival where love is spoken through the sound of leaves, prepare yourself for the next discovery, where massive trains thunder past just a few steps away, right in the heart of Hanoi. Number 10. Hanoi's Train Street, coffee by the tracks. Would you dare to sip your coffee as a massive train thunders past, just inches away from your seat? In Hanoi, this seemingly reckless act happens every day at the famous Train Street, a narrow alley where houses stand only a few steps from the railway tracks. For decades, residents here have lived in harmony with the Iron Giant. Its whistles and vibrations become part of the neighborhood's daily rhythm. When the train approaches, street cafes instantly pull in their stools and tables, tourists hold their breath, and within seconds, the ground shakes as the train roars through. Then, as quickly as it came, life resumes, accompanied by laughter and awe. One traveler once described the feeling. Drinking coffee here felt both terrifying and exhilarating. My heart raced. Yet I never wanted to leave. This delicate balance between the ordinary and the extraordinary has made Train Street one of the most unique attractions in the world. But why is it so remarkable? Because Train Street embodies a paradox. Instead of retreating from danger, the people embrace it, weaving it into their cultural identity. They adapt, adjust, and coexist with the railway, turning what could have been a hazard into a symbol of resilience, flexibility, and creativity. Suggested visuals: a drone sweeping over the narrow street with the train slicing through, close-ups of hands hurriedly pulling plastic stools aside, slow motion of train wheels passing just centimeters from balconies, tourists' wide-eyed faces as the wind whips past. Then a wide shot of the street, returning to its lively, ordinary self once the train is gone. And if you think drinking coffee beside a roaring train is thrilling enough, wait until the next discovery, where Vietnam's urban architecture will leave you stunned. Entire houses built only 2 meters wide, but stretching up 5 stories high, a bizarre yet brilliant solution to overcrowded city life. Number 9. Tube houses only 2 meters wide. Can you believe that in the heart of Vietnam's busiest cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City, there exist houses barely 2 meters wide, yet rising up to 5 stories tall? These are known as tube houses, a unique architectural form born from a colonial-era tax policy when land taxes were calculated based on the width of the building's street frontage. To save costs, locals ingeniously built their homes tall and narrow, like vertical boxes squeezed tightly together along narrow streets. Today, these houses are more than living spaces. They double as shops, cafes, grocery stores, and even bustling eateries. Imagine an entire family of 3 generations living inside a home, no wider than a city bus. The ground floor, a storefront, the upper levels serving as kitchen, bedrooms, and finally a rooftop terrace where laundry flutters in the wind. A foreign traveler once described stepping inside one of these houses in Hanoi. It felt like climbing into a vertical book, where each floor was a different chapter of daily life. So what makes these houses so extraordinary? They are not merely relics of an old tax law, but living symbols of Vietnamese adaptability, creativity, and the ability to maximize even the tightest spaces. In a world where people often strive for larger, more spacious homes, in Vietnam, narrowness has been transformed into opportunity, a lesson in resilience and flexibility. Suggested visuals: a sweeping drone shot over a packed Hanoi street, both sides lined with impossibly thin houses stacked like upright books. close-ups of a tiny cafe tucked inside a 2-meter-wide house, slow-motion shots of footsteps climbing a steep, narrow staircase, and finally, a rooftop view where a family gathers on a tiny balcony, watching the endless stream of motorbikes below. And if you think living in a house only 2 meters wide is already unusual, brace yourself, because the next discovery will surprise you even more, where foreign visitors pay for the chance to live as Vietnamese farmers for a day. Number 8. Reverse tourism. Paying to be a farmer. Can you believe that in Vietnam, there is a type of tourism where foreign visitors actually pay to become farmers for a day? Instead of staying in luxury hotels or riding in air-conditioned buses, they roll up their pants, wade into rice paddies, plant seedlings in the mud, catch fish with their bare hands, or herd water buffalo across sun-drenched fields. This is a form of reverse tourism, where hardship becomes the most treasured experience. At dawn, guests wake with their host family, pick fresh vegetables in the garden, and light a wood stove to prepare a humble lunch of fish stew, vegetable soup, and pickled eggplants. At first, they stumble awkwardly, drenched in sweat, clothes caked in mud. But then, something remarkable happens. They burst into laughter, their faces glowing, as if rediscovering a pure joy that modern urban life has long stolen away. One American traveler recalled, "After just one morning of herding buffalo and cooking on a straw fire, I finally understood why Vietnamese people always smile. Happiness here doesn't come from abundance, but from the fullness of simplicity." So why is this discovery so unique? Because it is not merely a playful experience, but a bridge of connection between humans and nature, between strangers and rural Vietnam, between the frantic pace of modernity and the tranquil rhythm of village life. In this contrast lies a profound truth. Sometimes the smallest, hardest tasks open the widest doors to freedom, joy, and meaning. Suggested visuals: sweeping drone shots of lush terraced rice fields, close-ups of muddy hands planting young rice shoots, slow motion of travelers laughing as they catch fish in the paddy, wide shots of blue smoke rising from a straw fire in a humble kitchen, and finally, a herd of buffalo strolling home through the golden light of sunset. And if you think paying to become a farmer is already bizarre, prepare yourself. For next comes an interlude, a reflection, a pause where we contemplate what we have seen and ready ourselves for discoveries, even stranger still. As we pause to reflect on the extraordinary discoveries we have just witnessed, a question arises. What do they truly reveal about us as human beings? From the impossibly narrow tube houses stretching skyward, to trains thundering past cafe tables just inches away, to foreign travelers willingly sinking their hands into mud to live a farmer's life for a single day. Each story reveals something profound, a longing for life, an endless creativity, and the joy of finding meaning in the simplest of things. Perhaps behind all the strangeness and wonder, these moments are gentle reminders that humanity is forever in search of connection, with nature, with one another, and with ourselves. For no matter where we come from, we carry the eternal questions. Who are we? Why do we create? And what legacy will we leave behind? Picture this: ancient ruins resting quietly beneath a canopy of stars, flames dancing in the desert night, voices and drums merging with the wind, as if all of humanity were singing a timeless hymn together. That is the essence of what these discoveries awaken. Not mere curiosities, but echoes that touch the soul. This is a pause, a deep breath, allowing us to see Vietnam not just with our eyes, but with our hearts. And yet beyond this moment of stillness, there awaits a discovery even stranger, beckoning us forward into the unknown. Number 7. The festival where men dress as women. Can you imagine a festival where young unmarried men dress up as women, with makeup, earrings, flowing gowns, and dance gracefully in front of the entire village? At first, it might sound like a curious spectacle, but in fact, it is one of Vietnam's oldest traditional festivals, held in Tho Coc village, just outside Hanoi. Here, chosen young men transform into women, not for entertainment, but to perform ritual dances that mimic agricultural practices, all with the hope of ensuring good harvests and harmony between heaven and earth. A Japanese traveler once recalled his experience. "I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw tall young men, dressed as women, moving with such grace. At first I laughed, but then I realized this was no parody. It was a deeply rooted belief and a cultural pride shared by the whole community." For the villagers, this festival is not strange at all, but a sacred inheritance, a ritual that ties them to the rhythm of the land. It is a vivid example of how agricultural prayers have been transformed into performance art. Why is this discovery so fascinating? Because it reveals a paradox. What outsiders might see as bizarre is, in fact, a symbol of order, belief, and continuity. In the contrast between appearance and meaning, we discover a deeper truth. Ancient rituals, however unusual they may seem, all arise from the same universal human desire: to survive, to prosper, and to remain connected. Suggested visuals: sweeping drone shots over Tho Coc village on festival day, close-ups of young men's elaborately painted faces, slow motion of graceful dance moves in vibrant costumes, intercut with golden rice fields heavy with grain, as though nature itself were responding. And just when you think this is the strangest of festivals, prepare yourself, for the next discovery will take you to another world entirely. Hanoi's nightlife, where sidewalks become stages and the city wears a new face under the cover of night. Number 6. Hanoi's nightlife, freedom after dark. Can you believe that when night falls, Hanoi transforms into an entirely different city? By day, the capital is orderly and bustling with business, but once the streetlights flicker on, it becomes a vast stage for personal freedom. On the pedestrian street around Hoan Kiem Lake, thousands gather, and the place feels like a real-life version of Tinder, where a glance, a greeting, or a spontaneous dance can spark a love story. In another corner, the sound of sidewalk karaoke fills the air from a tiny speaker, where anyone can be a star, no stage or spotlight required. Only the courage to sing. Not far away, the city's humble Bia Hoi stalls spread plastic stools across the pavement, where a few cents buy hours of laughter that stretch deep into the night. And if you wander into the night market, you'll step into another world altogether. Rows of stalls selling everything from clothes and trinkets to sizzling grilled skewers, smoke and aroma blurring the narrow lanes. A French traveler once remarked, "Walking through Hanoi at night felt like being part of a chaotic yet mesmerizing symphony, where music, food, and people blended into one vibrant performance." So what makes Hanoi's nightlife so extraordinary? It is the contrast. While daytime life follows rules and routines, the night belongs to freedom, to singing, dancing, mingling, and savoring simple joys. Night is when boundaries vanish. An office worker by day becomes a street singer by night. A busy mother transforms into a vendor to support her family. A group of young friends discovers a space to express themselves without judgment. Suggested visuals: sweeping drone shots of the glowing pedestrian streets, close-ups of two strangers exchanging a glance in the crowd, slow motion of beer glasses clinking under golden light, a camera panning slowly through smoky, colorful night markets. And finally, a group of friends singing karaoke under dim streetlights, their smiles illuminating the entire block. But if you think Hanoi's nightlife is unique enough, brace yourself, because the next discovery will lead you into a sacred realm, where humans commune with spirits in a mystical ritual known as Ha Giang. Number 5. The mystical spirit possession ritual. Did you know that in Vietnam, there exists a ritual lasting up to 8 hours, where humans seem to become a bridge between the earthly and the spiritual worlds? This is Ha Giang, a UNESCO-recognized intangible cultural heritage, both mystical and spectacular. Inside a temple thick with incense smoke, drums, cymbals, and wooden clappers create an unbroken rhythm, while the spirit medium enters a trance, changing into lavish costumes dozens of times to embody deities, goddesses, or legendary heroes. With each transformation, not only their garments change, but also their gestures, voice, and presence, as though the very spirits themselves have descended. The audience does not merely watch, but participates. Small gifts like mirrors, combs, salt, coins, or fruit are thrown into the crowd, believed to bring luck to those who catch them. At the ritual's climax, paper offerings, houses, horses, even mobile phones or cars are set ablaze, symbolically transferring wealth to the afterlife through a fiery, unseen connection. A Western scholar once wrote, "I saw a strange fusion of performance art, religious faith, and communal bonding, all merging into one collective experience." Why is this ritual so remarkable? Because it is simultaneously theater, devotion, and a reminder that humans will always seek ways to communicate with the unseen, to ask for blessings, comfort, and balance in an uncertain world. Suggested visuals: sweeping shots of a temple glowing with candles and incense, close-ups of the medium's radiant face under shimmering embroidered robes, slow motion of coins flying into eager hands, a lingering shot of paper offerings burning brightly, ashes swirling like sparks against the night. And if you think spiritual ceremonies are already Vietnam's greatest mysteries, wait until the next discovery. Vietnam's most striking landmarks, where nature and history together create wonders that astonish the world. Number 4. Iconic landmarks across 3 regions. Did you know that Vietnam is home to some of the world's most remarkable landmarks, each leaving an indelible mark on those who visit? In the early mornings of Hanoi, before the sun even rises, Hoan Kiem Lake comes alive with footsteps of people exercising, laughter, and the rhythm of aerobics music blending with birdsong, painting a vibrant picture of urban life intertwined with nature. Further north, Ha Long Bay emerges as a masterpiece of nature, where thousands of limestone karsts soar dramatically from emerald waters, making visitors feel as though they've stepped into a living ink painting. In the highlands of Sapa, terraced rice fields curve elegantly along mountain slopes, their colors shifting with the seasons. Lush green in planting season, golden during harvest, showcasing the harmony between human labor and the breath of the earth. Heading to central Vietnam, Hoi An preserves time itself, with mossy ancient houses and lanterns that glow like jewels each night, transporting every visitor centuries back into history. Meanwhile, in Da Nang, the morning Huan market bursts with life. Women carrying baskets, bundles of fresh greens, trays of fish straight from the sea, every element blending into a symphony of daily survival and joy. Why are these landmarks so extraordinary? Because they are not just tourist destinations, but mirrors reflecting the soul of Vietnam, a country where nature and culture weave seamlessly together, where tradition is preserved while modernity is embraced. Suggested visuals: drone shots of Hoan Kiem Lake at sunrise, boats weaving among Ha Long Bay's limestone towers, slow motion of terraced fields shifting colors in the wind, a lingering pan over Hoi An's lantern-lit streets, close-ups of a vendor's hands weighing fish and exchanging smiles with a customer. And if you think these landscapes alone define Vietnam's uniqueness, wait, because the next discovery will lead you to an entirely different dimension. The world of cuisine, with over 500 dishes that have become a living heritage of flavor. Number 3. Over 500 dishes, one culinary philosophy. Have you ever wondered what happens when a person decides to transform every bone, every drop of broth, every scrap of meat that others might throw away, into culinary masterpieces? Vietnam is that answer. A land where the philosophy of waste nothing has given birth to over 500 dishes, each one a story, a fragment of the nation's soul. Picture a misty Hanoi morning, a steaming bowl of pho before you, silky noodles floating in a broth simmered from beef bones for hours, scented with cinnamon and star anise, a symphony of earth and sky. Then travel south to Hue, where Bun Bo Hue is not just food, but royal heritage. Spicy broth, crab cakes, slices of pork and beef, each spoonful a memory of imperial banquets long past. But Vietnamese cuisine does not stop at beauty. It shocks. Balut, the fertilized duck egg, sits on the edge of life and death, a dish both horrifying and irresistible, daring outsiders to taste mortality itself. Then comes Phu Quoc fish sauce, the liquid soul of Vietnam, so pungent that Westerners recoil at its smell, yet a single drop transforms a dish entirely, like alchemy. One American chef once exclaimed, "Vietnamese fish sauce is the greatest secret weapon in global cuisine." And finally, in the narrow alleys of Saigon, you'll stumble upon a humble Che stall, bowls of mung beans, lotus seeds, jelly, bathed in coconut milk, simple yet capable of softening even the hottest day. What makes Vietnamese cuisine the ultimate climax discovery? It is the contrasts, from royal courts to sidewalks, from delicate to daring, from aromas that seduce to flavors that challenge, all converging to reveal this truth. Vietnam turns scarcity into creativity, and the ordinary into the extraordinary. Suggested visuals, close-ups of steam rising from a tiny pho stall, sweeping drone shots over Phu Quoc's salt fields where fish sauce is born, slow motion of a traveler hesitating before biting into balut, lingering shots of a glowing street-side Che stand where laughter mingles with sweetness. And as your gaze lingers on lotus seeds drifting in coconut milk, a haunting question remains. Perhaps cuisine is humanity's way of immortalizing memory, of turning hunger into art. But wait, for ahead lies yet another discovery, where landscapes and history converge to create wonders that leave the entire world in awe. Number 2. A land of endless festivals. Did you know that in Vietnam, every season of the year is marked by a festival, as if the country itself lives in perpetual rhythm with drums, colors, and faith? From the high mountains to fertile plains, each community and ethnic group has its own rituals to celebrate harvests, cleanse misfortune, honor ancestors, or simply reunite with loved ones. In the northern mountains, the Tay people perform the hair-washing ritual on Lunar New Year's Eve, where women wash their hair with forest herbs in a stream to wash away bad luck and welcome blessings. Meanwhile, the entire nation enters Tet, the Lunar New Year, the grandest celebration of all, when streets glow red with peach blossoms and yellow apricots, families gather joyfully around reunion feasts, and children eagerly await their lucky money envelopes. In Ha Giang, there is the unique Khao Vai Love Market, where even married couples return to meet old flames, not as betrayal, but as remembrance, embraced by communal tolerance. In Phu Tho, bronze drums thunder during the Hung King's festival, as thousands make their pilgrimage to honor Vietnam's ancestors, a thread binding centuries of history. And on the waters of the Kin Bac region, the lyrical melodies of Quan Ho echo from small bamboo boats, where singers trade verses that are both art and courtship. Why is this cycle of festivals so remarkable? Because they are not mere cultural events, but mirrors reflecting the soul of Vietnam, the blending of spiritual faith, historical memory, and human longing. Here lies a paradox. On one hand, these rituals are ancient and seemingly unchanging. On the other, they remain alive, drawing millions of hearts each year. Suggested visuals: sweeping drone shots of peach blossom fields during Tet, close-ups of Tay women washing their hair under moonlight, slow motion of smiling couples reuniting at the love market, lingering pans across lantern-lit rivers where Quan Ho voices soar. And if you think festivals alone define Vietnam's uniqueness, waiting for the final discovery will unveil something even more astonishing. The secret of living costs in this country. A truth that might just make you reconsider your own future. Number 1. Low-cost living paradise. Can you believe that with just $550 to $800 a month, you could live comfortably in one of the world's fastest-growing nations? This is not a dream, but a reality in Vietnam. A country where the cost of living is so low that it leaves many foreigners in disbelief. A modern apartment right in the heart of Hanoi, or Ho Chi Minh City, costs only about $200 to $350 a month, just a fraction of what you would pay in New York or London. And it's not just housing. International healthcare here is 60–70% cheaper than in the US, yet the quality matches global standards. A full medical checkup, complete with tests, costs only $60 to $120, often without the need for insurance. On top of that, the government offers tax incentives for long-term foreign residents, making Vietnam a second paradise for retirees and those seeking a fresh start. A Canadian couple once shared, "Back home, we had to count every penny, but in Vietnam, we can rent a lovely apartment, travel extensively, and still save money." Why is this discovery so remarkable? Because it reveals a paradox. While much of the world struggles with soaring costs and economic instability, in Vietnam, a high-quality life is available at the price of just a few fancy dinners elsewhere. Suggested visuals: drone shots sweeping over high-rise apartments in Ho Chi Minh City glowing at night. Close-ups of a modern international hospital with smiling doctors. Slow motion of a table laden with street food delicacies for just a few dollars. Scenes of a foreigner cruising through Hoi An's ancient streets on a motorbike, eyes filled with ease and freedom. And finally, the haunting question. If just $500 could buy you a rich, fulfilling life in Vietnam, would you dare to change your future? But this is not the end. For right after this discovery, we arrive at the Grand Outro, where all the mysteries and wonders of Vietnam connect into one greater story. We have just journeyed together through a tapestry of wonders, from the impossibly narrow 2-meter tube houses rising high in bustling cities, to ancient festivals where men cross-dress to pray for abundant harvests. From Hanoi's electrifying nights of street beer and sidewalk karaoke, to the haunting spectacle of spirit possession rituals lasting for hours. From the misty grandeur of Ha Long Bay, the terraced fields of Sapa, the lantern-lit streets of Hoi An, to dishes both exquisite and shocking. Pho, Bun Bo Hui, Phu Quoc fish sauce, and balut. And finally, the astonishing truth is that with only a few $100s, one can live a life of comfort and richness here. But beyond Vietnam itself, these discoveries reflect something universal. Humanity's boundless creativity, our unshakable faith in community, our deep connection with nature, and the power to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Perhaps the lingering question for you is this: which discovery struck you the most? And where should we take you next? To a distant culture, an unsolved mystery, or an untouched land? As the music swells, imagine yourself standing at the edge of the horizon where the secrets of the world still lie hidden like unnamed stars waiting to be discovered. If this journey has brought you something new, stay with us. Like, comment, and share so these stories can reach further, and don't forget to subscribe. Become a part of the adventures yet to come, because the world still holds countless wonders, and our journey has only just begun.